Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield Podcast. So great to be along with you today. I got some big news. There is someone named Imran Ahmed who was in charge of, I believe, spreading, quote, disinformation as he's, quote, calling out disinformation. The reality is this guy was a suppressor of free speech. He is not an American citizen. He is here legally, but because of his efforts to squash free speech of American citizens, starting in COVID, through all the election cycles and beyond, President Trump and his team want him deported. Imran Ahmed is his name. And the judge in D.C. has put a stay on this deportation order. But I'm going to tell you right now, we need him out of here. One of his targets was a doctor who I would bet when we ask him that if he wore it as a badge of honor, that he was on the, quote, Disinformation Dozen, labeled as a disinformation doctor. You really do need to wear that as a badge of honor because the 12 people that were on that list were spreading nothing but truth. Well, this guy they're looking to deport was one of the chief purveyors of trying to squash anything that resembled the truth, or even asking questions about COVID, about the election, about President Trump, about anything. He's an English citizen trying to do away with the First Amendment. We're going to talk about him today on the program. Before we do that, though, folks, I want to tell you about my friends over at the Wellness Company. These are doctors, by the way, that work for the Wellness Company that have done everything they can to bring you the straight scoop, the real story. And they form this company that brings products to you, direct to you, that many doctors don't want to give to their patients, like ivermectin. You get one of these medical kits, ivermectin comes in it, twc.health/grant. Antivirals, antiparasitics, antibiotics in this kit. You talk about the weight loss supplement, Drop, which is a peptide-based weight loss supplement that is doing what these GLP-1s, the Ozempics of the world, claim to do, only without eating your muscle and all the crazy negative side effects. Drop is the way to go. So many great products. I urge you to check it out. twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off. Grant 100 for $100 off of Drop. With that, though, folks, let's get the show started right now.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right. Welcome, everybody. As promised, I do have with me my good friend, Dr. Ben Tapper. He's with the Wellness Company. He was also on the Disinformation Dozen. Do you even know how you ended up there, Doc?
You know, that I wonder that same thing, Grant. It's quite comical. The reason why I was on that list is because they were afraid of men who are unafraid to bend a knee, who saw through all this propaganda and corruption. You know, we held a seminar in 2019, okay? In 2019, before anybody knew about COVID-19, we held a seminar and said, listen, something big is coming our way. I had proof that the government was manipulating data in their data collection of the CDC. We had proof of that. You have Event 201, which was a dress rehearsal 3 months before the pandemic even hit the United States. This was a giant simulated global pandemic that they were preparing. This was a giant dress rehearsal because they knew what they were doing. That's why we said this was the great pandemic. This was a giant agenda coming our way. But again, I was speaking out prior. We held that seminar and we said, listen, something big is coming our way. And they were afraid of that. So they were censoring myself early on in this whole pandemic. And that's the reason why I was on that list.
All right. So this individual, Imran Ahmed, he is very closely tied to Keir Starmer over in Great Britain, very closely tied to the Labour Party, which is Britain's version of the radical left Democrats that we have here in the United States. He comes over here and he creates this organization that the news media flocks to. He pushes big tech to censor people like you and me and others simply trying to ask questions to spread the truth. Can you tell me about this guy? And then I'll play some clips of him as well.
Yeah. So Imran Ahmed came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody heard of the CCDH, was the Center for Countering Digital Hate, prior to the pandemic. The very first hit piece that came out was on the Disinformation Dozen. It was, they tried to say it was hate speech, which is quite comical, because what we were doing is trying to raise awareness around the dangers of the vaccine. We were talking about government manipulated data, but they said they call it hate speech, which is a very, very slippery slope, because you have a lot of people in the left that they claim, they're for free speech, but unless it's deemed hateful, then they have the right to censor and silence. But Imran Ahmed has ties to George Soros. He has accepted money from the Soros organizations. He has ties to dark money here, and he's not even a U.S. citizen. This is a foreigner on our American soil that has really tried to promote censorship, which is quite evil. I mean, George Martin said, when you cut out a man's tongue, you don't prove him a liar, but you are fearful of what he has to say. They were afraid of what we had to say, and they were trying to cut out our tongue, and they did. They silenced and suppressed dissenting voices here, like myself, who was just trying to raise awareness and whistleblow that there was government corruption.
All right,
and it's evil.
Let me play a clip from a local news story. I'm tempted to just play the whole thing, because it really spells out the trouble that we have in mainstream media today. She does a decent job in the fact that she at least comes to you to talk to you for comment, all right? And normally they wouldn't even come to you for comment. Mm-hmm. But she asks you a question. She's so uninformed, and I want people to listen closely for the question that she asks you, which I lost a little faith in her here. There's worse out there, but I want to play this story because it shows the dynamic between you and others, and this Imran Ahmed and what he's trying to do. So let's watch this local news piece that was done on the, quote, Disinformation Dozen.
Imran Ahmed and his team spent years studying misinformation on social media, especially now during the pandemic.
12 individuals are responsible for 2/3 of the misinformation shares on social media.
They called those people the Disinformation Dozen.
Social media platforms amplify that which gets the most engagement, even if it's people saying that's nonsense.
The nonprofit study encourages social media sites to remove these 12 profiles, including Dr. Ben Tapper, an Omaha chiropractor.
He's someone who seeks to undermine vaccines, full stop.
He says Tapper uses his platform to spread information that confuses people about the vaccine's safety and the severity of COVID-19.
Claims that viruses can't exist outside the body and that the vaccine isn't safe. It doesn't give you immunity. Well, once you hear that, you might think, well, gosh, I should find out more.
The White House praises the work done by the Center for Countering Digital Hate and urges social media platforms to get a handle on disinformation. We sat down with Ben Tapper to get his response to being named in the report.
I was shocked. I was surprised. I think it's, and then it kind of turned to a lot of questions like, why was I even on that list? Why is a chiropractor in Omaha, Nebraska on that list?
Tapper says he's not sharing misinformation at all.
All we're doing is asking questions. We just have some concerns and questions, and they just label it disinformation because they don't want people to listen to us.
Tapper says there are people who've had serious health reactions to the COVID-19 vaccines.
We're ignoring these people, and the funny thing is that the social media is censoring them, and the fact checkers are saying it's false information, and they're putting out their own testimonial, their own information, their own health records, and we're ignoring these people. And so I speak out for those people.
Tapper believes a healthy lifestyle is all you need to survive COVID.
Why don't we talk about lifestyle choices, good lifestyle choices, but we're not hearing that because this isn't about health. There's a bigger agenda here.
The center's report cites Tapper's social media posts, which include messages that masks are about control, not preventing the virus.
I'm saying you need to do your research, get informed consent, and we need to not neglect our health. We can't just get the vaccine and think that we're just going to be healthy.
I challenge you on that because your posts are mostly against a mask, a vaccine, and you have a huge following of people who see that, trust you, and then adopt that ideology that is anti-mask, anti-vaccine.
So my post, if you look at my post, what I'm in for is informed consent. So if it gets interpreted that I'm anti-vaccine, I think that's on you.
Tapper says it all boils down to choice and health.
The reason I speak out again is because my convictions are greater than my complacency.
The Center for Countering Digital Hate says when it comes to your health, the pandemic, and vaccines, you need to hear from your doctor, not the Disinformation Dozen.
Vaccines are some of the safest, most effective, most consequential inventions in human history. And doctors, well, they're doctors. We know that they're on our side.
Sarah Feely, KETV Newswatch 7.
So, Dr. Tapper, I mean, there's really a lot to break down, and that is the problem with the mainstream media there. I mean, we have a problem with doctors. By the way, you're one. You had other doctors saying the same thing, and if you go back now in history, that guy, Ahmed, basically said the vaccines give you immunity.
Yep.
There is not a soul in America that will tell you the vaccines gave you immunity, including Dr. Fauci. They now all admit that that was wrong. You were right about everything.
Right. It's comical, too, because in that interview, he says, when you hear him say that, gee, you think to yourself, I should find out more. And you should. They're trying to control thought. They're trying to control your thought processes and tell you what to think. And that's the problem. You know, Imran Ahmed, he's not a doctor. And people think of, you know, look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates is on frontline and center pushing this vaccine. Why don't you go after him, Imran? He's a computer geek pushing health advice, telling everybody to go get the vaccine. I mean, he's coming after me, and I had dedicated my life to this area of study in the health field. I'm a practicing clinician. Bill Gates is not. He's a computer nerd pushing the vaccine on people. So, Imran, you have the wrong target.
Yeah, a little lesson on media here too. So I spent 20-something years in mainstream local television. At the end of my career, the large, more than 50% of my career was spent in large market television. Omaha is small market television. I will tell you this, though. She did a decent job. She did more than I thought that she would do. The piece ran 3 minutes. In Dallas, Texas, where I worked at the NBC station, we would have gotten 1 minute and 10 seconds to tell that story. Went 3 minutes. They heard more from you than we heard from them. You came off very, very reasonable. Her question, though, shows you she was believing the CDC. She literally had been trained to just believe government, what they tell you, and I'm sure her news director was the same thing, and she couldn't believe you would be telling people that the masks don't work. But even with that, you know, the other bad part was at the end, she says the disinformation does and don't listen to them was basically what she said. But overall, not horrible. Doc, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why. I mean, I had actually multiple news stations in line to do the interview, and when that interview aired, they canceled all the interviews. Why? Because I think the people realized that I'm on the right side here, that we are on the right side of truth and the right side of history, and they couldn't deny the facts that I was bringing to the table, and so they canceled all the interviews locally. And so I think that tells you everything you need to know, that they were afraid of what we had to say, and they said no longer, cancel all the interviews. Yeah. So, and it backfired. People listened to that, and they started asking questions.
So do you think Imran Ahmed should be deported?
I think he should be behind bars, because if you really look at the judge interference here, they actually protected Imran from being arrested. So he interfered with government elections. He interfered, really infringed upon our rights, and to me, that's an act of war. That is this isn't just a violation of freedom of speech. He's trying to, how do you describe it? I think Sayerjeet said it was kind of like, he was burning all the houses down. And then when the fire department showed up, he cried as if he was a victim. That's exactly what happened here. He called for the censorship of American citizens. He actually cost lives here for the information that we were bringing to the forefront here. It could have saved lives. And so arguably he cost the lives of a lot of people. I'm all for freedom. And I support freedom, and I am for the greatest of minorities, and that's the individual. But what Imran did, he broke the laws of this country. He interfered with elections, and he went after precious freedoms and liberties, and had the government in his back pocket to do so. And so Biden, all those people, suppress information.
I think a reasonable person would say, just looking at the name of the organization is Center for Countering
Digital Hate.
What is it?
It's the CCDH, which stands for Center for Countering Digital Hate.
Okay.
So, yep.
And when you look at their mission of what they were engaging with, it was all about censoring people. I want to play a clip from, because it was about censoring, but whether you agree with them or not, what I love about the First Amendment is our founding fathers trusted the smarts of American citizens. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean you have to believe it. Doc, if you say something that masks don't work, it doesn't mean that I have to believe it. I'm free to go do my research. Just as somebody's free to say masks work. I don't care. I'll figure it out on my own. And I think our founding fathers were smart enough to know that people are smart enough to figure things out on their own. Let the opinions come out and let the science fall where it may, as long as we have an ability to actually do that research. They wanted to stop us from doing that research. He's not an American citizen. Let me play this clip from a podcast that he was on, and it shows you a little bit about where he is.
You know, your sort of thing of, well, I'm willing to tolerate the normalization of anti-Semitism because some people were banned for saying that men can't be women.
Imran,
I disagree with you on that.
No, hold on. You can't disagree with something I didn't say. Should you be able to call for an armed revolution on social media?
Well, do you think they should?
If we were living in the social media age in 1776, this country never would have been created.
In what way is Donald
Well, he was
Trump
banned from all the social media platforms.
Were you worried about his ability to get his message out?
Well, his ability to get his message out was definitely reduced significantly. As you said yourself, when you ban people from social media, you said it yourself, they lose reach, right?
We were worried about his ability to get his message out. That is the definition of censorship and squashing speech, Doc.
Yes.
He admits it.
You know, censorship is the tool of the tyrant when the lie loses its power. You know, and so they justify this because, you know, freedom of speech, you know, is really the ability to say what you want. Whether or not I disagree with you, you have the freedom to say it. I might not agree with everything you have to say, but that's why God gave us a brain. We have discernment and wisdom to you know, dissect what you're saying, to really ask questions and have dialogue. And this whole thing was about censorship around the vaccines for myself. You know, when they claim the science is settled, then let's have dialogue. Let's ask questions, but you were not allowed to question it. And that's a real slippery slope, especially when it comes to our freedoms and liberties, you know, and any time in confusion or doubt, we always have to err on the side of freedom. And it's a very, very precious thing we have here. And we only have the rights and freedoms that we're willing to defend.
Yeah, it is so true. I want to take a moment just to talk about a product from the wellness company. Then I want to come back. I've got some more clips from this guy because, you know, even when he says, do you support someone's right to call for an armed revolution? Now, I don't support someone's right to say, go kill ICE agents, go kill President Trump, go call for the assassination of somebody. The call for an armed revolution, though, you know, there's a reason why we have guns in this country. It's not for personal protection. It's to stand up to a tyrannical government. If we get to the point where you've got to call for an armed revolution, then guess what? That's what happened in 1776. Right. And so that shouldn't be banned. Do you agree?
100% I agree. I mean, I'm all for the Constitution. I support the Second Amendment. I mean, I don't support killing anybody. I mean, the only way to justify using the Second Amendment is in self-defense and for against a tyrannical government. I mean, it's something that we have, and it's there. It's not for hunting, but it's there to support and defend our freedoms and liberties, and that's what it's there for. You know, the Constitution is not there to restrict the people; it's there to restrict the government, and that's
just you, Dr. McCullough, Dr. Thorpe. You name all these doctors at the wellness company. Just the wellness company itself, right now, I can only imagine what it's like to put Facebook ads up. Or YouTube ads. I can only imagine. I'm sure the censorship is still going on.
100% it is. I mean, you see it all the time. I see it, censorship and then shadow banning. They're allowing you to post now, it seems like, but they're shadow banning. They're kind of restricting the reach. And I've seen that. And that's been the case ever since, 2019.
All right. Let me, we'll continue to hear more from Imran Ahmed here in just a minute. But I want to ask you about this product drop that is out there. Now, it's a weight loss supplement, correct? And it's peptide based. What can you tell me about it? And why should people be using it?
You're seeing all these health consequences from Ozempic and these injectable weight loss, medicines. But the drop is, I love this because it's an oral base. There are no injectables. You can use HSA or FSA flex spending to purchase these. This peptide, it's a peptide base that you take orally. I mean, 300,000 people die of obesity every single year in this country. Obesity is a real epidemic, and this peptide can help with weight management. It is very, very powerful and effective. We already have a mountain of testimonials from this product coming in. It's very, very easy to take. You just hit the easy button, take it orally, and it's very, very powerful. It uses a breakthrough scientific method of getting peptides orally. Again, there are no I hate taking needles. I hate using needles. So this is a very powerful peptide that is utilized to help with weight management and is tried and true. And we are, like I said, getting so many different testimonials coming through. Have people that have dropped the weight and they're using this daily. And so it's very, very significant.
Well, so for people out there, twc.health/grant, use promo code GRANT100 for $100 off of the drop supplement. $100 off, twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT100. All right, Doc. So I've got another clip from our friend here. This, and I should say, President Trump moved, or his administration did, to have, I believe, 6 foreigners who are here legally, but actively were engaged in suppressing the speech of American citizens. They want them out of that country. This country. This is Sarah Rogers, a deputy secretary of state, talking about some of the misinformation, they're trying to squash, quote, misinformation and what that does to America. Listen.
Add one more thing on the Online Safety Act, and I emphasized this earlier, but I want to say it again. It's misguided and unfortunate to apply that law in Britain, but applying that law extraterritorially, which means applying it to speech that has nothing to do with Britain, does not occur in Britain, is on American platforms by American users on American political issues, purporting to censor Americans in America is a deal breaker. It is a non-starter. It is a red line. And that's what Ofcom has tried to do with the Online Safety Act, and that's one reason the American government is concerned.
Okay. All right. So what she's talking about is Britain having a law in place that if you're in the United States, you could be charged in Britain for saying, I mean, it's ludicrous. And they've done this, by the way. They have gun laws in Britain, and they had a British citizen in Florida shooting a gun. They charged him when he landed. Like, I mean, it's outrageous. The reason I bring it up is because Imran Ahmed is from Great Britain. I believe, Ben, he's infiltrated America. That's his goal, was to infiltrate American big tech and Congress.
100%, my friend. And this is again, we have to understand that, we don't have, the freedoms that we thought we have here. And, like I've always said, that we don't have medical freedom, especially, we have a dictatorship at our doorstep. And if we stay complacent, we're going to let them in the door. I mean, this is why Edmund Burke said the only thing for triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. We have to be proactive in this fight here. We have to take action, especially Imran Ahmed. This is a massive case. This is a massive thing for our freedoms and liberties. And if we lose that freedom of speech, then I believe it was Thomas Jefferson who said, then deaf and silent will be led to like sheep to slaughter. We don't value our health till we get sick, and we don't value our freedoms till we lose it. And we are on a very, very slippery slope of losing these freedoms.
Yeah, it sure is true because of guys like this. Listen.
It doesn't matter which policy issue is central to your concerns about the future. Fixing the disorder in our information ecosystem has become integral to the solution. If you care about climate, then you worry about a tidal wave of climate disinformation designed to undermine the scientific consensus astride which our ecosystem of analysis and solutions sits. If you care about gender inequality, then you worry about social media algorithms promoting misogyny and being hijacked by bad actors to spread disinformation about abortions. If you care about conflict resolution or peace or anti-Semitism or anti-LGBTQ+ hate, then you worry about polarization and the amplification of hate speech, which makes our societies feel less safe, more polarized, sclerotic, harder to cohere. So how is this happening? Well, look, good information is as vital to the body politic as good nutrition is to our physical bodies.
I would offer that all information is. And Dr. Tapper, I would also say that there is no such thing as mis or disinformation. It is all just information, and you take it for what it is.
100%, my friend. Grant, can you pull up that podium again, that picture of him speaking, please?
Yes.
Do you see that image?
You know, it doesn't matter
Hold
what.
on, let me do this. Here?
Yeah. Do you see that, like that rainbow circle?
Yes.
Okay. Bill Gates wears it in pins. That is the World Economics Agenda 2030 Global Forum symbol. Okay. That is that symbol resembles the Agenda 2030 World Economic Forum. They want to come after every aspect, avenue of our life. That is something that needs to be talked about. Imran Ahmed and he's on the podium there. That tells you everything you need to know about this man. This man is not for this country, not for our freedoms or the liberty. He goes against everything this country stands for. That symbol right there is actually a communistic globalization of our country, and they're coming after our rights and freedoms in this country. Make no mistake, that to me is a communistic symbol. This is why they're coming hard after our freedoms. So make no mistake, that symbol right there just sent shivers up my spine, and I'm not surprised to see Imran on the podium of that. So make no mistake, we need to be on high alert here of what that symbol means and what that globalization agenda is all about. So it's a slippery slope.
Well, that's a good catch right there. And again, that does tell you everything you need to know. And what is frightening about what he's saying there is he says it in such a calm way that, we don't want people telling us that this is fake news about climate and all these things. And people on the left, which I'm sure he's talking to, are like, yeah, rah, rah, rah. The reality is he brings up climate. Now, I don't mind having a debate with the leftist about climate, and we can talk about legitimate issues. I can bring scientific studies. I'm sure they can too. I can call theirs into question. They may be able to call mine into question, but there certainly is a debate. It is not it is not settled science on climate change by any means. Now, I may claim it is on my side, they'll claim it is on theirs, but that's what a debate is. I'm not afraid of that. They're afraid of that. Gender inequality. Dr. Tapper, they will claim that you and I are racist to say that a transgender woman, meaning a man who's pretending to be a woman, is not a woman. They'll say that's hate speech. The reality is there's an argument going on in the Supreme Court as we sit here right now. And it's so simple. A transgender woman is not a woman. Any reasonable person can tell you. Now, they may be some kind of a third. You cut your nuts off and you suppress your testosterone. You do all the... Maybe I give you a third lane to go down, but you're not a woman. And so we're still debating all of this stuff, and they are so afraid to have that debate.
Well, science is observational. Science is not relative. It's not what you believe in. So this is the thing. We are getting away from observational science. Science is a tool that we learn through the lenses of observation. And this is why when you come out of the womb, what do we observe? Oh, you have testicles, then you're a boy. I mean, look at Mr. Rogers. He said that girls have vaginas and boys have testicles, and that's the way it is. And it's but today we're abandoning true science, and this is I think that's all by design. It's by an agenda. Make no mistake.
Bring it full circle back to that original news piece. You said it's bigger than all this. There's a bigger agenda at play. I think everybody watching this realizes that. And in many respects, that's why the wellness company was formed. It's why they sell the products they do, to push back against that bigger agenda. Before I let you go, one of my favorite products is Ultimate Spike Detox. This helps get that spike protein out of the system. Whether you took the vax or whether you had COVID, the spike protein is a problem. Can you talk to me about this product, Doc?
I think everybody on the planet should be on that spike protein, whether you take the vaccine or not. We have a spike toxin that is a real thing. I've talked to so many different embalmers. They have said that they have seen clotting issues, and we're not talking normal clots. Normal clots will dissolve like grape jelly in your fingertips. The types of clots that these embalmers are pulling out of the body are like white fibrous rubber band like material that is causing obstructions in the cardiovascular systems. This spike detox helps detoxify the body. There are powerful antioxidants in here. So I recommend everybody be on a spike support, whether you took the vaccine or not. It's vitally important for the health of our body.
This 100%. Would be a daily supplement, correct?
100% it is, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's great having you on the program, Doc. As always, you always bring the heat, man, and I love that. But you bring it with truth and in such a reasonable manner. I think that's what took the reporter back so much, is that you weren't yelling the street. She thought you were going to be, one of these fire breathers and coming out, and you were so reasonable. That is, in my opinion, why they had canceled all those other interviews with you. We'll never cancel on you, though, Doc.
That's why I love you, Grant. Thank you, brother. Thanks for supporting me. God bless you.
Right back at you. Where can people find you on social media?
Yep, just type in Dr. Ben Tapper on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you'll find me.
Awesome. Buddy, thank you for coming on. And again, folks, remember, the Wellness Company, they're great. Their support of this program has absolutely been fabulous, and I would urge you to support their company. Go to the website, twc.health/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off. Like I said, the emergency medical kit with all those prescription medications is a must-have for every household, but there are pain gels that go so deep like you wouldn't believe. This is great. There's the Mars product for men. It's a testosterone booster. Get off the testosterone and onto Mars. So many products. I urge you, just go to the website. Check it out, and you're going to be amazed at what you find. twc.health/Grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off. All right, that's going to do it for us today. I will see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're watching live, please subscribe, like, share this podcast everywhere you can. And I'm going to be flipping over to talk to Steve Bannon on War Room, which you can see right here on Rumble as well. So I'll be there moments away. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We'll see you tonight. Buddy, thank you.